Dear friends, in the previous video we are dealing with correlation. You remember correlation coefficient lies between -1 to 1. So correlation measures the strength and the direction of the relationship between two variables. Okay, it indicates that how much and in what way these two variables are changing together. We are going to the next concept called regression. Regression analysis is used to model the relationship between one dependent variable and one or more independent variables. It estimates the strength and the direction of the relationship and can predict the value of the dependent variable based on the values of the independent variable. So it gives simply the mathematical relationship, estimation, etc. Whenever we speak about regression, whenever I take two random variables x and y, then I'll speak y on x, x on y. So first we'll do one by one. Regression line y on x. If we take y on x, x is my independent variable, y is my dependent variable, and a and b are constants. And a is an intercept, b is called as the slope, and b is also called as the regression coefficient y on x. So the notation for regression coefficient y on x is b by x. The regression coefficient y on x is derived by minimizing the vertical distance. It's for MCQ. Now we are going to write the regression equation y on x. It's going to be y minus y bar is equal to r into sigma y by sigma x, x minus x bar. So to find the regression equation in the problem point of view, we need these data: x bar, y bar, r, sigma y and sigma x. Okay. The x bar and y bar are nothing but the means of the series x and y. And we know sigma x and sigma y are the standard deviation and r is the correlation coefficient. Now r into sigma y divided by sigma x is nothing but the regression coefficient for y on x. So we now say vyx is equal to r into sigma y by sigma x. From the previous slide, we know the regression coefficient y on x is vyx. So I can rewrite this equation as like this: y minus y bar is equal to vyx x minus x bar. Similarly, now regression line x on y. Now y is independent variable, x is dependent variable, a is intercept, and b is going to be the slope. Since we speak x on y, the notation is going to be bxy, and the regression coefficient x on y is bxy. Whenever we speak about x on y, it is going to be horizontal distance, and when we speak about y on x, it is going to be the vertical distance. Okay. Now you can easily guess the regression equation: x on y, x minus x bar, y minus y bar. Since x on y, I will be getting sigma x by sigma y into r. As usual, x bar, y bar are the means, and now bxy is nothing but r into sigma x by sigma y. So now we know the formula for the regression coefficients, both for y on x and x on y. Now properties. It is very important for MCQs as well as problem solving. So now whenever I take r, bxy, byx, either all are positive or all are negative. I cannot get one value is positive and the other one is negative. It is impossible. Then byx and bxy both cannot be greater than 1 because regression coefficient and correlation coefficient both lies between what? -1 to 1. So both cannot be greater than 1. Maybe suppose one thing is getting 5, other thing may be 1 by 10. When you multiply this together, it should be less than or equal to 1. Now we are going to see the relationship between regression coefficients and correlation coefficient. So r square is equal to bxy into byx. When you take square root, you will get plus or minus bxy byx. If these two are positive, then my r is positive. Because the property we see, if these two are negative, my r is going to be negative. Regression coefficients are independent with change of origin. Do you remember? Correlation coefficient are independent with change of origin as well as change of scale. Either you subtract, either you add, or you divide, or you multiply, correlation will not be affected. But regression will be affected when you multiply or divide a number. But it will not be affected by adding or subtracting some data. So as I said, the regression lines lies between -1 to 1. The regression lines become identical if r is equal to plus or minus 1. That means the angle is 0. If r equal to 0, then two lines are what? Perpendicular. The angle is 90 degrees. And now we go for some properties which we are going to use in the problem solving purpose. The regression line always passes through its mean, x bar comma y bar. The angle between these two lines are tan theta equal to 1 minus r square by r into sigma x sigma y divided by sigma x square plus sigma y square. So these things we are going to use for MCQ purpose. Hope you understand the basics on regression lines. So to find the regression line, we need the following: x bar, y bar, the mean. Then once you find, we have to find sigma x, sigma y, and we have to find the correlation. If we have all this 5 data, then using the formula of regression coefficient byx means sigma y, sigma x into r. bxy means r into sigma x by sigma y. We can easily crack this problem. So these are all the basic formulas needed for finding the regression coefficient and solving the problem. Thank you guys for watching. In the next session we are going to see how to solve problems on regression coefficients.